gonna say it. I don't know if you should call it tech phobia or it's just that thing of you get so swamped with your corporate life that this thing, maybe there's no much attention to it. And maybe that's where we might say everything happens with a reason. And sometimes some things are blessings in disguise. Because I think the transformation is real. These days I get questions from my students and I just go like, really? Did she just ask me that? So it's so fulfilling. Some of us have like always been so in love with tech, regardless of what that might mean to different people. But when you're passionate about something, sometimes you even forget monetizing it. You just love it and get on with it. And some of us are like, yeah, it looks like a good thing, but do I really need to understand this? And sometimes you just go like, it's not my path. So let me have our guest introduce herself. My name is Miss Kim. We are on our 10th podcast, specifically on Africa's STEM Queen, where we are discussing everything on digital transformation with the purpose and the mission to educate and explain and showcase the opportunities that are there within the digital platforms or the digital era, the digital economy. Thank you. Over to you, Miss. My guest, please introduce yourself to our audience.
Thank you, Miss Kim. And hello, everyone. Good afternoon for those of you who are in this part of the world. We're sitting in Gaborone, Botswana, in Southern Africa. And hello to everybody else who might just be waking up to a Friday. And it's a wonderful Friday in Botswana because it's the beginning of a lovely long weekend for us. We will be celebrating what we call President's Day. My name is Yodit, and yes, I've been a student of Miss Kim's now. We're going to be hitting 2 years very soon. Um, and yes, my journey with technology has been very interesting, especially over the past year and a half. Prior to that, of course, I used it like everybody else, appreciated it even more during COVID when you had to do everything online, but then discovered that you could actually have meetings with everybody. Didn't matter where they're sitting. And like Miss Kim, I'm passionate about educating people, bringing people together to learn about different things. My passion and background is in development work. Sustainability is something that I'm very curious about, and identifying new and interesting ways of keeping Mother Earth healthy and safe for the next generation. So that's me. I don't want to take too much time telling you my story around technology, but suffice it to say that Miss Kim has me by both ears and my nose, and I am embracing it and enjoying it daily. I still have questions, obviously, concerns as a mother, but I believe that there's a lot of good that can come from us embracing technology and AI, and hence the podcast this afternoon. Thank you, Miss
Thank you.
Kim.
Thank you. Thank you. You know, the most beautiful thing is you encourage so many others that are sitting on the fence. And this is where it's such an honor to constantly have you. You've been brave, you've been curious, and just getting started on the platforms, it's not easy.
Mm.
And I've seen it. I've met one celebrity right in Botswana. I hope she'll agree one of these days to come on our podcast. A big, big TV personality who is not on digital platforms. So this is actually started with Uptime some years back. She interviewed me on BTV. And then when I was posting the recording or just the story, how the interview went, I asked her for her social media handles where I said, give me your platforms so that I can mention you. And she said, I'm not on social media. And I asked her, how? Because a lot of you are in demand. This is how people meet you. And that's when she told me her fear. She says, when I'm on TV, you guys can't attack me. But on social media, you're going to tell me anything horrible that you want to tell me, and I can't take the hit. And obviously, as a mom who has children, teenagers, and who has worked with hundreds, if not thousands, of youth across the continent. They share their frustrations. There is social media bullying, it's real. And for
Mhm.
so many reasons, people have their reservations on getting on digital platforms. It can be a little bit nerve-wracking, and it can hinder you from that progress. It's a muscle that we all have to grow. Well, I don't know. I can't say. I think some of us are just maybe different. I don't think there are social media platforms I'm not brave enough to be on. There's a little interview that we did on Saturday, and I saw this morning the team posted me that interview on TikTok, and I went like, I'm on TikTok. Yes, I have a TikTok platform. I'm not so active because I don't know what to talk about on TikTok. I've not yet found my tribe. So I'm a little
Mhm.
bit sort of scared. So I'm sort of a passive consumer for TikTok. I think it's an amazing platform, but I maybe my perception is this is for teenagers and just for fun. So there's a lot to learn as you engage on that, and it's a muscle that we all have to build. And maybe also being very intentional and looking at what is my why, what is my purpose, what lessons do I want to learn from this, and what do I want to teach. I think as we progress, especially with age, I've been very, very particular on I don't want my knowledge to go to the grave. I need to empty my cup. It's such a beautiful thing with right now AI, how sometimes you listen to people that will post something. Of course, there are some that are real recording, but something that Mandela said. And it's so beautiful. I watched something earlier. Somebody posted something on Bob Collymore, who is one of the best leaders or corporate CEOs we've had within the continent. He was the CEO for Safaricom and made Safaricom be what it is. And he's gone. But he left such an impact. And so his conversation, his talks, there was a lot that I actually learned from that clip. So this is a call to people sitting on the fence. The digital transformation, it's not something that we can't talk about coming. It's right here with us. And there's so many ways of monetizing it. And that's what we want you to get from this conversation. You're
Mm.
welcome joining us from, we are streaming on 17 platforms. If you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you are, please put your questions there. Let us share. Let us get to know what's keeping you on the fence. What would you want to learn? Are you keen on learning how to monetize, or are you keen on learning which platforms do you need to get into, which is obviously subject to what products are you promoting, what's your demographic that you're targeting. There's still a lot to learn, but I think for me my emphasis is on start, and start now. Don't
Mm.
wait until when you can see the entire staircase. Start just baby steps, baby step. Every day, just getting on the platform. You can even start by just being a passive listener. You're reading even before you start engaging with your community, until it gets to a point where you go like, I've built my tribe. I think I identify with this particular platform and I want to focus on that. So I think I'll start with asking Miss Judith. I know she has a set of questions for me, which I'm so excited to be interviewed today on my journey. But I think I'm very intrigued to know what inspired you to start getting that interest of understanding the digital platforms or the digital landscape.
Gosh, Miss Kim, it's an unexpected question, but I'll try to answer it as quickly as possible so that we don't take too much time. A couple of reasons. I mean, previously, when I was in my last employment, we had to use digital platforms, especially because of COVID. And I fell in love with it simply because it allowed me to reach a lot more people, especially around sharing information and knowledge, getting people to understand and appreciate what needs we're faced with and how they can become part of a solution. So that's when, but obviously it was the easy ones, doing webinars and things like that were not difficult. LinkedIn was a platform that I started using a very long time ago, but nothing to talk about, got on the platform, registered, uploaded what I could upload, hooked up with people that I could. But over the years, just really was here and there. I never really explored it. There was a time where I was running a program, webinars, and we would stream on Facebook mainly, understanding and appreciating that most folks in Botswana are on Facebook. And I remember a friend calling me and saying, "But why aren't you guys streaming on LinkedIn? Because professionals, the kinds of people that you would like to reach with the information you're sharing, are sitting on LinkedIn, and I don't have a Facebook account." So that was the first time where, the intrigue, okay, we can stream on LinkedIn. Yes, it's a professional platform. And then I think the business also started becoming interested, and et cetera, et cetera. So that grew. But I took a keen interest once I stopped working um, at my last with my last employer, because now I'm looking for opportunities. And this is where, Miss Kim, you came in. You're in love with LinkedIn. You've done so many exceptional things with LinkedIn. And I'm a very cautious person. So cautiously started building, what I could. I remember you said to me, "What? Nobody's going to take you seriously with 200 connections on LinkedIn." And I was horrified because I didn't even know it was a thing. I had no idea. So I was like, okay, I'm going to take on this challenge, and decided to reach out to people that I know, and was able to connect with a lot more people. But then, as I began to discover the different benefits of being on LinkedIn, and the one that I really appreciate and want to encourage folks who are in my age range, those who are looking to do different things in their lives, they've worked for over 20 years, etc., is the amount of knowledge that's sitting on LinkedIn, and people just willing to share their expertise. I've signed up to, I don't know how many groups now I'm following, groups that are talking about sustainability, about social impacts, climate change, etc. So many of those groups. And then there are those who talk about mindfulness, things that help you take care of yourself, etc. And I'm learning a lot. And I'm really loving it. And because of that, now also beginning to connect with people who share those passions. LinkedIn is also where I started interacting with the happiness tribe, the tribe that you created, Miss Kim, and now a very happy member of the happiness tribe. Very excited to be on the weekly podcast, and have come from a time where I barely said anything to now being very excited and enthusiastic about every single podcast. Even if I don't know much, I know that one can always ask questions. And so, for folks who are still not sure, who are very private, because that's the main concern, Miss Kim, is I'm a very private person. I don't want my business all over the internet or these funny platforms. um, is you can start by asking questions. You can start by making comments about some of the brilliant things that people share. And so I think with LinkedIn, I'm still very cautious, still taking baby steps. And yes, you've challenged me to say, yes, you've grown, but you haven't posted anything yet. So yes, it's coming. It's coming. I think it's a wonderful opportunity. And I believe the way you explained it to me, Miss Kim, is where you said, people want to hear your story, and people want to help. So where we've got young people and I see them looking for work, there's one picture of a beautiful young lady who's just graduated, and she says, "Please hire me." So I think it's a platform that where wonderful things can happen. Fortunately, I've only experienced one trail of comments that were just not nice, and I stayed away from that. So I can understand why you don't want controversy on a social platform. It doesn't make any sense to me why it's necessary to do that. But anyway, that's another subject. So that's my story in short, Miss Kim. So let's flip this now because we are now, gosh, it's 17 minutes past the hour. So today, actually, you're the guest and I'm hosting because I
And I
get to
love it.
ask you, yes, I get to ask you a bunch of questions. And you've
Yeah.
shared bits and pieces of your journey in the previous podcasts that we've
Yeah.
done. But now we're going to focus and then we're going to zero in as well on your latest, should I call it mission? I know you've got a big vision, but your
Yeah.
latest mission and what your intentions are for young people. So let me start with
Mhm.
the first question. So we know you as the Africa STEM Queen. And I know you've shared that story before, but as you're responding, I'd like you to remind us, why are you called Africa STEM Queen? But as you're answering that, also, what is it that got you interested and curious? Why are you so passionate about technology and young people? Talk to us.
I love the question. And the most interesting part about the question of how the name came up. As we know it within the continent, I think one of the most proactive, assertive people within the continent is Nigerians. And I love them to pieces. And they have been my educators, my mentors. So there was one gentleman who really, really loved my mission. And may his soul rest in peace because he passed on with COVID. He was huge. He was larger than life. He was doing a lot of work throughout the continent and so much focusing with Nigeria. And when he came across my content on LinkedIn, straight up he booked for a session, and he got a team to come and crown me as
Okay, that I've
Africa's
never
STEM
heard
queen.
before. Okay.
I'm so honored because he worked with the university professors, deans, and stuff like that, and he could keep on inviting me to do a talk because he kept on saying, "I'm going to crown you, but you got to earn it." And of course, I wasn't even taking it serious. Like, we're just chatting, but he could keep telling me, "You constantly talking about STEM education. What exactly is this? How can you educate us?" And I did a number of virtual sessions, which were really nice. I should share them online in one of these days. And very engaging conversations. And straight up, I earned the title, Africa's STEM Queen. So initially, I was a little bit, especially when I started growing quickly on LinkedIn, I was a little bit like, am I being too forward? Like imposter syndrome. And I consulted one of my very respected mentors, and he said, "You're not serving the world by playing small. Claim those titles and run with them." Because one of the things you encounter as you start growing on social media, you Google yourself and you find some place you awarded some accolades that you don't even know about. Your name gets misused. You're invited to meetings that you didn't know about or you're mentioned. So there's good and bad. I'm not going to say it's the holy grail of running our lives, but everything is hard. So you choose your hard. It has, for me, my pros and cons, it has more merits than demerits. So I've chosen to be active on it. So that's to answer why STEM. Okay, now my other question on why youth. I've had the privilege to work with youth from Cape to Cairo. And I have seen they all want the same thing, the same struggles. One of the blessings we have in Africa, having a population of 60% of our population is under 35. That can be a ticking time bomb or it can be our gold mine. And it's time up, we turn it into a gold mine. We can't afford to turn it into some drama, and we've seen it. The clock is ticking every day. So all these chaos disruptions that we're seeing in different cities, it's a cry for help. I think for the first time, I've had gunshot. I've been very privileged that I've only had gunshot once in my life, and that trauma lives within me. And I must have been like 18 because it was right in the city in Nairobi. And I was horrified. It was actually police chasing a criminal. It's a thief. It wasn't like there were chaos in the city. So now, the recent, I think about 4 years, we had the first gunshots. It were not even, we didn't hear them, but we had people were gunned in our city, which is a very peaceful city. And it was so scary. I remember the same week I get into the mall and I see police with guns escorting security vehicles that are taking money. And I hated that scenario because our police don't carry guns. And that just showcases how peaceful we are. No crime, a very peaceful country. So for me, when I see this crime going up, it's we either build walls, which is not a nice thing to do. We get the wild, vicious dogs, or we get down to the street, we go to the slums and sort out unemployment. It's a cry for help. Nobody's born a thief, nobody's born a criminal. It's literally just people looking for opportunities. So I'm on a mission to ensure that I can be a catalyst for change. What can I contribute to create jobs within this continent? How can I help youth and ensure that they can understand they're gifted, they have a skill, they have a talent that they can harness or polish the skill or even get another skill and start monetizing what they have? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kim. And, if there's one place I believe, and I believe this sincerely, that it is possible to, get young people together, and you've been doing it, and to train them. And yes, we have things that we need to worry about, but we don't have as much things to worry about as other countries on this beautiful continent of ours. So Botswana is a very peaceful country, and there's a lot that's already in place that we can utilize. And now is the time that we need to pull up our socks. I'll use that one today, and get working. And you've been doing that, Miss Kim. So, if you could just share with folks who are listening, what are some of the things that you've been driving? Because you've been driving programs under Destination Imagination for the past 5, almost 6 years, and you've been doing a lot of STEAM and STEM education. I've had the privilege of watching your people in action with young people and seeing the excitement, amongst the children. So maybe just give us a little bit of an indication as to what you've been able to achieve in the past several years that you've been at it here in Botswana.
Thank you. Yes, constantly, I think we don't give ourselves enough credit, like you always remind me. But the constant, the beautiful reminder is when we see youth that have gone through our hands or our spaces rising up. And sometimes we just come across what they're doing. Sometimes it's on social media, sometimes they call us, sometimes they visit us. And at that point, we say, oh, so we are making a difference, really and truly. So obviously, there's still a lot of work to be done. But one of the things that we've managed to blend that have come out to be so beautiful is in our training of technology, which we so much focus on coding and robotics, artificial intelligence, very critical, especially right now, cybersecurity, we do drones activation, we do 3D printing, we do virtual reality as well. So it's one thing getting the skills, it's another thing application of those skills. And when I realized that we have a lot of graduates that have gone through the school system, some of them are super smart, but they can't express themselves. They can't go for interview. They don't even know how to collaborate. They don't know how to package themselves and take themselves to the market. When you look at this huge shortage of job, it's truly shortage of skills. And the number one skill that we really need to focus on is soft skills. It's the most difficult to teach. It is the most underrated skill. We assume that you can just be born and pick it up. And that's a myth. It's not. It is so difficult. It takes time. And I don't like saying it's anything is difficult on social media, but it's truly not so easy. If it was easy, everybody would be doing something pretty well. It's a journey. So for me, blending in our tech skills with adaptability, emotional intelligence, all the soft skills has been a game changer. So, what I've seen, the emphasis of getting them, holding them from where we encounter you that go like, I hate social media. Don't try to get me on social media. I can't be bothered. I was traumatized. This and that happened. I am not a tech person. I'm not interested in technology. And then slowly, slowly, you get them to warm up. Life is not presenting us with many choices. As we speak today, tech is not a nice to have, it's not a choice. It is a must have. We can't run away from it. It doesn't matter whether we're running a cattle post, we are farming, technology is right here, and the earlier we embrace it, the better. So I've seen a lot of children or youth that have passed through our hands or our spaces create their own jobs, start their own side hustles. Others get into STEM spaces, especially we have a lot of them that are in university. I remember at some point I was accused of raising politicians because what happens, most of our students right now in campus, or as soon as they get to campus, they become student leaders because you've worked on their self-esteem, their confidence is at a different level. So they're very outspoken. So leadership is critical, and we need to build that skill. We also try as an organization to ensure that we are embracing what we teach. We practice that by allowing everybody who comes to our company, ensure that they have a voice, listen to them, let them lead. So we ensure you here, you work for 3 months. After you 3 months, you've learned everything, start your program. You're the boss, and you can actually hire people that will report to you. And that works. Just literally getting to accept it's okay to make mistakes. We learn from those mistakes. Embrace that and ensure that everybody gets that just to fall in love with digital transformation, with technology. It helps a lot. I hope that answers.
Absolutely, Ms. Kim. I think not only does it answer, I think it's important to emphasize that the soft skills, the leadership skills, and I've seen it. I've seen a few of your students who are now active in other spaces and who are vocal and who speak very well and who can sell themselves, their skills to anyone. And it's something that I find it to be a very creative blend of skills. So STEM is important, it's critical. Yes, we all need technology and we should embrace it, but it's also important to know how to work with other people, how to practice empathy, and how to speak up if you need to speak up against something that's not okay. So I just find it a wonderful holistic program. And hopefully, because one of the things that I've noticed just in work that I've done is, with STEM, the older you get, the fewer girls you have or young women you have. And I'm hoping that that will start to equalize and we see more young women embracing technology as a profession and not just attending these boot camps. Okay, so let's go right back to you, Ms. Kim. One of the things that you've done, which is really impressive, you've built over 34,000 followers on LinkedIn and you've generated more than 2 million impressions. Gosh, I don't think I can ever get even halfway there. But anyway, how did you go from just being visible to, because it's something you can just be visible, but you're not just visible, you're actually also making money from this. Can you explain to us how did you get to that where you're able to now combine both income and impact utilizing LinkedIn?
Yes, and it's interesting. I think when we say necessity is the mother of invention, is that the right phrase? I have my kids that make fun of my phrases because I love
Copy.
using them. It
Yeah,
is right.
I think it
So,
is.
yes, I think for me, it came out of necessity. I needed to expand my marketing. I needed to reach out to people in other continents. And it came like like the platform, my platform of choice. Obviously, when I started my journey on LinkedIn, my company has just gone belly up. and sitting like literally stuck with what next. I've always taken myself to be very creative and to always have ideas business wise on something that I can do. But this is one time that I found myself with scribbling, putting on my laptop every day this idea. I wake up 3, 4 days, I scribble, this won't work, this won't work. Until I met somebody, I'm scrolling on my phone, I'm feeling like the weight of this world, literally, it's on my shoulders. And I'm on LinkedIn. I didn't even know how to use the platform nicely. I didn't even know that that platform could have an impact in my life. And this person, and I've tried to look for this person, I can't get him. Some young American guy. So he told me, you're saying you're stuck, you're looking for something to do, but you just want some business you can do. Start with understanding LinkedIn. Just post every day, engage with people. And I think right now, if I met, he would be so proud of me. So I started by building a community. And then, so I'm building a community, I'm integrating things with my website. And just when I'm building up and I'm motivated, my then German web designer passes on. And he passed on with my passwords. So, yes, I could not access my cPanel. Everything went. So, that's another big mistake to make in business. You should always have access to your platform, the back end, and stuff like that. So, I lost a lot. And part of it, I even lost my company, LinkedIn, which I had built. And because when I started, I didn't have the confidence to show up so often. I was showing up through the company. And company pages don't do as well as personal pages. So when he passed on, it's like I was left with no choice. I had to embrace it. I just had to face my fears and just get on LinkedIn. So I'm naturally a brave person, but obviously sometimes the school of hard knocks makes us that. And sometimes that school of hard knocks takes our confidence. So my business going through belly up killed my self-esteem, which was a very horrible thing to lose. So I found myself second guessing myself every time, reading what I want to post 3, 4 times before I post it, and just thinking I'm not good enough. Who's going to like my content? But with time, I started getting people engaging with my content. And the more they engaged, the more that boosted my confidence. So, and then I started with just connecting with people and following influencers. So there's one gentleman called Jeff. Jeff is American. He's such a lovely teacher. Jeff does not charge to teach. He's on LinkedIn, very active. Jeff taught me like literally everything I know about LinkedIn. Jeff must be in his 60s or early 70s. So he's not about monetization. He's not about the hype of this is the new way of doing things. No, he's very traditional. He's very focused. And he was the perfect person for me to learn from, especially then. The only thing that I started dropping Jeff a little bit was Jeff is not about monetization because he's retired. He's there for fun and to help people. That's why he doesn't charge. He will have a call with you. He'll talk to you for 30 minutes. He's not so keen to understand how can you monetize on LinkedIn. So I started a little bit shifting and following others. We're still very good friends. We're still connected. However, I needed to widen my scope and start following others that I could learn. Okay, I love this platform. It's my goal to interact with professionals and learn something. But I need to make money out of this platform. And how do I do that? And that's when I learned the key things is first, how do you optimize your platform? If your profile is not speaking to people, you're not going to get engagements. If your picture, the first picture that your profile picture, people cannot see you. We speak to the world through our eyes. People need to look at it and see your eyes. If people can't see that, the algorithm also does not sell you out, and people don't feel like engaging with you. If your banner has no call for action, people don't know what you're doing. I've really struggled with my brand identity as somebody who wears many different hats. One minute I'm in fintech space, another minute I'm in edtech, another minute I'm this like personal development officer with the happiness tribe. And that can be so confusing. So one of the things I did was And I also love politics, which my LinkedIn police has strictly said no politics on this platform. And I've listened to that. So what I had to do was get all my companies on LinkedIn, then I can have my voice represented by my companies that talk about all these other things. But social media platforms, you need to focus. If you're preaching about STEM education, can we identify you as Africa's STEM queen? And the algorithm, the gods of algorithm also sends all the angels and they come and support you. It is also very, very important to build a community. I cannot emphasize that more. You are selling to people. Your network is your net worth. Identify with people where they start selling your brand that you find you're mentioned in rooms that you are not in. Literally every day, I get somebody who has tagged me on an opportunity that I need. And when you're tagged on an opportunity, the person who posted that goes like, I need to know who this person is. So the next thing is you're on a phone call with that person. I don't think I go for 2 days without a conversation. And that's where you start building from. It's not every conversation that ends up being profitable, but it's financially, but it becomes profitable in so many different ways. I get to learn what other people are doing. I get to learn what other people are talking about. It just exposes me to a world of possibilities. And that is why, for me, I regard LinkedIn as the gift that keeps on giving. I have not gone so deep in looking for brand partnerships. I believe if I ask for them, I have a few people who have thrown them to me and I've embraced them. But sometimes it's when you choose, I'm on this path and I want to focus on this for now. But I believe if I open myself to brand partnerships, which is one of the ways of monetization, right now, this platform we're using, StreamYard, sorry, it's OneStream dot, my goodness, they're going to be so upset with me if I forget the name of their stream. It's OneStream.live. It's an awesome platform that they have sponsored our podcast. We are streaming on their platform, and a big shout out to them, which cost a lot of money. That saves up on my budget. I've seen for literally every grant, every proposal I send, I monetize and I get people wanting to fund my project the minute I mention this is my brand, this is what I do, and I share my LinkedIn. So it's your most precious piece of real estate that you need to nurture. The On LinkedIn, it's not about selling directly. I still sell. I've sold a lot of my courses, my ebooks. Every other day, somebody will get on my other platform that I send you to go and buy a resource. But there are so many other not very direct ways of monetization that you find coming through. Before this call, I had a conversation with a high profile digital marketing person who has offered to help me sell my resources online on commission. And I found that very strange. Like, that can't be coming from you. Because then I'm like, what if you don't sell and you've used your energy? And he taught me so much. Then I went like, this, because also the social media platforms are so dynamic. There's always something to learn. So this person exposed to me to no, 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 no. You're not doing it right. You need to use all these funnels. You need to integrate so that people can then know where to find you. You need to make sure that your email marketing is getting done in extremely well. We had a very beautiful conversation. So that's right now this laptop I'm using, which is a very nice laptop. Somebody from US, Douglas Alfred, packaged it, sent it to me with an iPad, a projector, and thousands of books. Actually, he just shipped other books. I have more than 500 ebooks that he gave it to me. And this is from what? LinkedIn. I can't even begin to talk about how much money he's given me, financial support that go print books and give them to children. So for me, LinkedIn, and I don't know how to ask, which is my biggest challenge. So maybe my way of asking is I give as well. So I give what I have, which the biggest giving I think I do is skills. So I share my inspirational stories, I share free courses, I share my free books, and it pays 10 times. you receive in so many big ways.
Always. Thank you, Miss Kim. So, for someone who's starting out on LinkedIn, you know, how do they where do they start? How do they start turning their passion or their skills into something that's profit making? How do you start making money?
Thank you. A very good question. So, we're going to assume this person has already set up a very nice profile with their very nice picture. They're looking at us in the eyes. Their branding is very well done. They've started posting. LinkedIn wants two-way traffic, and I think it's life. You get what you give. So you start engaging with people. The algorithm also sends you those people within your space. If you're in construction, look for people who are in construction. If you are in culinary, look for people who are in your space, and you'll get a community to support you. Now, there's so many different ways of monetization. Start with give yourself time, give free, talk about what you are doing. Invite people for free sessions. If you have a free tool, it could be an ebook, it could be an app, start giving it for free. From there, ensure you can get a coach because we all need coaches, we need mentors. That is still one way that this coach will help you for you to get into monetization. Now, the other way is whatever you're marketing, if you've packaged it so nicely, when you engage with people, pitch to them but in a nice way. You first create that community. You engage them on DMs. A lot of people actually truly just make money on DMs. I've met people who make so much money on LinkedIn on DMs without getting bothered with how many followers they have.
Okay,
So
let
you
me interrupt you there, Miss Kim. Assuming that there's some folks who are listening and have no idea how you use a DM, they don't even know what DM stands for. Can you explain that? How do you make You're not allowed to laugh. How does that even work? Like how do you make money from direct messaging? That's what it means, right? Or
yes,
am I wrong?
yes, you you know it.
Yeah, but how do you make money from that?
Okay. So there are people who use tools. I'm scared of using that party tools because that party tools you sometimes you can get banned by LinkedIn. But there are few that are approved and I use them. There's one called I'll get you the name or I'll put it on the LinkedIn after this podcast. But there are many different tools that you can use. So you've seen, I don't know if you've seen like especially universities that are all constantly recruiting students that do mass you receive those. So those are people that every day will send like to 100 people those messages. So that is not my system. And this is where I struggle with. I constantly get people who say, I can help you manage your platform. I'm okay with company platforms. Our team manages our company platforms, but my platform, I find it very personal because I have a personal relationship with my community. So how I monetize that is I will see Miss Judith. She has posted something about sustainability and she's very passionate about climate action and stuff like that. And I'll get on her DM and I'll tell her, I love what you're talking about. I'm also very passionate about climate action and I believe every student should learn something. Would your organization be in a position to sponsor us? We're running a campaign, we have a boot camp, and would like to have you come and talk to our children and maybe sponsor them. Whether you sponsor in kind, just come and talk to them, or you have some branded t-shirts you can bring, or you can buy them lunch, or I'm selling some books, or can you sponsor 10 students to come for this boot camp? Per boot camp, it's 500 puller. Just give me what you can. We have engaged, we've started a conversation. However, I prefer when I create a relationship. So I'll first say, hey, Miss Judith, I've been following you and I like what you're talking about. Would you be interested in knowing more about what we do? Then I'll share a link, maybe to my proposal or a link to my website. So we engage. It's literally just like how we sell to people. You quote them. Then by the time I see you've responded to my text, then I'll tell you, We have a project we're running and we're short of 10,000 Pula. Can you please buy some books? Can you support us? Or we have this workshop, we're selling tickets. Would be great if you joined us. And there are people who just focus every day. They go to LinkedIn to pitch. Literally, there are so many salesmen on LinkedIn that are just purely there making money. Let's say I'm looking for a job. I will know, maybe I saw somebody from your company posted your network, your net worth. But then I go like, okay, I don't know, I don't know the person who is hiring. I don't know the HR person for this company, but I see from my connections, I'm connected with Miss Yodit. It's sort of like, the Rotary Club, where once you belong to a club, you have a common goal. So for me, when I meet people, even socially, and they say, I know you from LinkedIn, you become my friend straight up, because we have one thing that we both love. So there's a connection. So when I see you're connected to me and I see your organization is hiring, and then I come on your DM and say, I saw like there's an opportunity. Here's my CV. Could you please put in some reference for me? Then you, as Miss Yodit, you'll come on my profile and go like, who is this person? What does this person talk about? And you've seen it, recruiters. And as one of them, I'm always involved in recruitment for our organizations, which I enjoy so much interacting with people. I still think it's a difficult job, but I love learning and being so good at it. I check you out first on LinkedIn. And if you're not on LinkedIn, then I Google you. What do you post about? Where are you on social media? What are your beliefs? Because LinkedIn will tell me, I'll see. What are your passions? Do you want to make a difference? Are you going to be aligned with our organization culture? And from there, I'm able to, that helps me make a decision. But then I want to um, emphasize the very notion that a lot of people think LinkedIn is for job seekers. Not anymore. You are CEOs. I actually think CEOs and business people have taken over LinkedIn. I wouldn't be surprised. I would love to do that search, but I wouldn't be surprised they're the majority. So what we post about really matters. I hope that answers.
No, absolutely. And as you're talking, I'm making mental notes about some of the things to consider now, when you are on LinkedIn, because getting anything done in a lot of instances is about building relationships. So within LinkedIn
Yeah.
itself, you've got a way in which you build relationships, which is quite what I love about it is that you can build relationships with people who are sitting thousands of miles away from you. You actually
Mhm.
have to wait for them to
Yeah.
wake up before you can have a conversation. But these are people who probably have different ideas. So connecting with individuals who are like-minded but happen to live or they're from somewhere else, I think for me just remains one of the most exciting things about LinkedIn. Okay, we're running out of time. So I want to jump to what you're doing now. One of the things
Mhm.
that you talk about now, Ms. Kim, is how you want to create 1,000 jobs every single year. And it's a big undertaking, considering the circumstances, how difficult it is, etc. But I also hear you talking about the dire shortage of certain types of skills. So tell us a little bit about that. What's the vision that you have behind this goal of 1,000 jobs annually? And I know this is for young people. And as you're speaking about that, please do talk about your future tech program as well, and what you're currently doing with that, and what you're hoping to achieve.
Thank you, Miss Yodit. And it's I think you're just asking my favorite questions today. You're being very kind to me. I appreciate. Now, this the creation of 1,000 jobs to start with. We're not just looking at youth. Of course, there's a critical issue, but I've seen, and we've all seen, we also have so many other mature people that are struggling with what to do. So we've opened our strategy and our projects into enabling everyone who is keen to learn. You just need to be teachable. which I strongly emphasize. This is not just for people who are into tech. No, you don't even need to know tech for you to be in our class. You just need to be so willing to learn. You need to be adaptable. You need to be willing to embrace change. Obviously, it's change. I mean, it's the only constant we have in life. It can be a little bit uncomfortable to get into that, but we have some strategies that makes like literally everyone warm up. So we have three programs we're running. The first one, I think that's the one I love most. It's called Future Tech Youth, which is for from 16 to 35 years. They come for 60 days to get training. So these are kids that maybe there's a gap year or they're waiting to go to uni or just something, they're just trying to figure it out. We expect them in 60 days to have skills they can monetize. We expect them to be very brave to talk about technology. And we expect them to have learned how to use platforms. So that is starting from Canva, AI tools like Gamma, project management platforms like Monday.com, getting themselves very well positioned on LinkedIn and getting to understand you're building your career path. You're a brand as a person. So start now. Start engaging with communities. You're not young at 16. It's time for you to start. So whether it's looking for your next career opportunity, if it's a job, if you're looking for scholarships, if you want some university intake, anybody who is talking about it is on these social media platforms. So you better start and do it now. We also teach them like filming, just techniques of shooting videos and stuff like that. And that is where we integrate a lot of soft skills. So those programs, it's strictly 60 days, but it's a lot of work. Then, out of the market demand, where people started asking, what about us? You constantly doing under 35. So parents to some of our students, which of course we have other programs we do for under 16, from the age of 5 years up to 16 or 18. We have many different projects we do with that age group. But just focusing on this future tech, after youth now, when parents started asking, and at some point I'm getting the heat on, I'm 65, I'm 70, I'm just retired, I'm still very young, I'm very smart, but I don't understand this whole digital transformation talk. What skill can I learn then for me to manage my little business or just for me to get by? So that's where we came up with Future Tech Ignite. So Future Tech Ignite is quite exciting. Oh my goodness. Somebody wants to say hello.
They want your attention now, but it's okay.
We had agreed. We had agreed we're not going to talk.
Miss Kim and her dogs, that's the subject for another day.
Oh, sorry, I've made my humble request that this is my time and it should be respected. I hope it will. Sorry
And if
about
it's
that.
not, just please continue.
Okay.
You'll get to them soon. We're almost done. Thank you, Miss
Yes.
Kim.
Okay. So I was talking about the Future Tech Ignite. It's quite
Yeah.
exciting. So with Future Tech Ignite, we give you an opportunity to even come and showcase your products, your idea. This what we call, I was told not to use that word, but I thought in the business world we call it speed dating. When you meet other business people and just talk about, I've been trying to get this idea to work, but I'm stuck. Please help me. So we do an entire morning of training where you're going to learn. Everybody right now has to learn something about cybersecurity. So you're going to learn something about cybersecurity and
Just ignore
I'm
them.
so sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
It's okay. It's okay.
So you learn something about cybersecurity and you learn something about um, cybersecurity, artificial intelligence, and digital programming, digital transformation. So we teach, oh, sorry, digital marketing. We teach you digital marketing within that program. Then the next thing that you're going to learn is obviously digital platforms that we need to use, LinkedIn and other platforms of your choice. You get some guidance, but it's not enough to be done within half a day. So what we do is we give you a hard book that you can carry on learning. Then the whole session is live recorded. So you're going to get that, where then you can be able to go through these classes. So we've had inquiries, especially from people that are in faraway places in different countries, asking to be part of that. So we've opened a virtual section. So if you can't be able to come in person, you can join us virtually. So this one will be 1st of August at a very beautiful sort of a resort, boutique-ish kind, with very good food, very good energy, awesome people. Whether you're looking for a job or you're trying to market a product, please come. Or you're trying to understand what is this AI? How can I use it? How can I automate my business? Come. You meet other people that are keen to teach you. And from there, we're going to build a community. So once you register, you join us, we build a community, we put you on our platforms where we keep on sharing other insights on how you can monetize your skill. We're BQA accredited, that is Botswana Qualifications Authority. So you'll get a certificate that's BQA accredited. We'll also expose you to our online courses. We are registered with IBM as a partner and AWS. And those are very, very important skills to get. So we add you on our platform and you carry on learning, which is so important for you to get those skills. Then the third package is Future Tech Connect. Future Tech Connect is specifically tailor made for companies. So we have organizations that know I'm running an insurance company, and specifically, I want my team to be trained on digital marketing. I want you to come and train 50 of my staff for 3 hours on this specific day. So that one is specifically where we partner with different organizations and meet their needs. I hope that answers. It's a mouthful.
Absolutely, Miss Kim. It's exciting. There's so much that you are doing. I think I love the fact that you are opening up to different age groups, because I know that, there are people that I know who struggle with digital platforms. They don't know where to begin. There's a little bit of fear, and I believe one of the things that attending this workshop will do is to take away some of that fear,
Yeah,
allow them to meet people who, oops, I don't know if you could hear that.
it's
You could.
okay. I couldn't.
I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. It's a helicopter flying a little bit low. But
Okay.
it's exciting because you'll also be in the company of people who are like you. So, if for those listening, I would encourage you to get in touch with Miss Kim, whether you DM her or look out for her adverts on LinkedIn. Please say where else you're advertising the program, Miss Kim, so that folks can get in touch. Bring a friend, tag a friend, come as a group. I know there are lots of business groups here in Botswana who have come together to support each other. Technology is something that we absolutely have to embrace. And for those who are still looking for work opportunities, it helps to be able to understand, to be able to navigate the different platforms, so that you can get your work done easier, faster. Um, it's just very helpful in so many different ways. So please come and discover what is on offer. What other platforms are you advertising on, Miss Kim, so folks can look for that?
Thank you, Ms. Judith. So we are on all our social media platforms, which you can look out for Destination Imagination Botswana, this Destination Imagination Africa, the Discovery Club, this Edustro Africa. That is on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, on Instagram, and on TikTok. And of course, our website. There's a registration form, and also you can DM us. We're very active on WhatsApp Spaces. If you DM us, we give you a phone call and we take you through the program. It's a beautiful place to be. I'm so excited and looking forward. We've had various other workshops in different parts of the continent, but I think this one is going to be different. One of the biggest different thing that we've never done is to get the market. So I'm so excited about the afternoon session where people will bring whatever you're promoting, whether it's an idea or it's an actual product, bring it, showcase it to the world. And since we'll be streaming live on 30 plus platform, you should get somebody sitting in Canada who will say, can I get Morohawa Setswana? Which is
Or maybe we can learn how to package it so that we can export it.
I
Maybe there'll
actually
be
saw some
somebody,
repackaging.
yeah,
I
maybe
saw
there'll
some
be somebody who
repackaging. Mhm.
teaches how to vacuum seal and all of those wonderful things that you can do so that you can keep things
Yeah,
fresh. That's very
yeah.
exciting, Miss Kim. I think what we need to do then is next week next week's podcast is if we could say a little bit more about the venue and the marketplace and what folks can do and some of the
Mm.
other things you can offer. Having worked with you over the past, soon I'll be saying 2 years, one of the things that you're able to do is nurture relationships, and I really appreciate that. You give a lot, and a lot in giving people ideas on how they can improve and better what it is that they're doing. So I can see a lot of relationships being formed at this session on the 1st of August. And, for folks who've never been on LinkedIn or who haven't been active on it, this is an opportunity to reach out and make, I don't know how many connections in that one day. It's actually not a very difficult thing to do. I think for as long as you know how to relate with people, it's something that you can do on LinkedIn as well. So, one last question. We've run out of time, Miss Kim, but I would like you to speak to all the young Africans out there. You've expressed concern, especially for, actually, no, not just on this continent, but everywhere. Young people are faced with so many different challenges. What is the one thing that you would like to say to them um, now that we have this opportunity, Miss Kim, on this podcast? What is the one thing that you'd like to talk to young people about, especially regarding technology and their future embracing digital platforms, etc.?
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Judith. So, one big thing, an important thing I'd love to tell them is it's a gig economy. Stop waiting for a job, create your own. You got this. You're brilliant. You're awesome. You have a talent. Polish that talent, polish that skill. I understand we may not all fit in self employment. It's true, it's a fact. But I don't think right now life is presenting us with so many choices. So, as you look for that job, your potential employer might also want to hire you because you're already running your own business. It's something I constantly tell people when they come for interview. Don't be shy to tell me that you're selling fat cakes. That's what makes me even like you more, that you're really trying to do something. I've tried to learn from other senior CEOs on what they look for when they're hiring. Their number one priority, you already have a side hustle. So whether you are safe in your employment, it's important for you to start monetizing that skill you have. We all have something to give. We have what I like calling our fundamental assets. Look within you. There's always something that you're so gifted at that you don't even think twice before you do it. Whether it's cooking dumplings or selling fat cakes, we've seen people monetize businesses that we didn't think can be scaled to something that is so mega. And sometimes don't sit with, I need to be passionate about it. No. Today's life is not giving us that of, I got to be passionate about it for me to do it. Just get in there. Everything is hard. Choose your heart. Embrace the digital platforms. It's a digital economy and there's money to be made. And Africa, this time, we're not going to be left behind. We are bringing our chairs to the table and we are claiming what is rightfully ours. Thank you.
You, Miss Kim. I'm not even going to try to start unpacking that because we're going to head into political waters, which we don't want to do. But that's a beautiful message, Miss Kim, and not just for our young people, but for really anyone out there who is still working, who believes that they have something to contribute. Thank you so much, Miss Kim. This has been a wonderful conversation as always. Enjoy the long weekend, as we call it here. And for those of you who are interested, the Happiness Tribe will be back in a podcast on Sunday. 5 o'clock Southern African time, and we'll be talking about procrastination. Yes, so please do join us. Until then, Miss Kim, you have yourself a wonderful evening, and we'll talk soon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, our listeners. Look forward to seeing you next week, same time, same place. And of course, on Sunday at the Happiness Tribe podcast. Goodbye.